Good afternoon, Team Dyess. On behalf of the Top 3 Professional Development, we're excited to be here with you today, the second week. I am Master Sergeant Monique Tester.
I am Tech Sergeant Desiree Elledge.
We're here to talk to you about resiliency, how to become more resilient and face adversity. Getting to know you. Now, as Master Resiliency Trainers, we go out to FTechs and we teach all the students on how to be more resilient. First thing we want to do is get to know them. We want to get to know a little bit about them and what makes them, what they bring to the fight. So for me, I've been going on 18 years, going on 18 years in May, and being ready for adversity is a challenge when you move around a lot. I started off in a little town called Berlin, New Hampshire. A lot of people don't know what that is or where it is. And going to Spangdahlem, Germany, then to Hill, Utah, Tanagra, Greece, Nellis, Nevada, Aviano, Italy, and then here at Dyess. You need to face adversity every time you move and you meet new people, new challenges with work. Right now, I started as wanting to be a world traveler, and now I am a mom and a wife. I have 2 beautiful boys, Maximus and Jackson, 5 and 3, and my husband, Nicholas Tester, who is an instructor over at the DET, soon to be first sergeant. And to my left is my teammate and my new friend.
Again, like I said, I'm Desiree. I've been in the Air Force. It'll be 15 years in August. I have 2 beautiful children, a 13-year-old boy and an 18-month-old daughter. I started my career in Aviano and then came here to Dyess, spent Dyess about 10 years now, and then shortly went to Edwards for 2 years, and then I came back to Dyess late fall of 2018. Yes, I did that on purpose.
Resiliency and what we've been trained is 30 years of research. 30 years of psychologists have dug into this and taught us ways to be more resilient. And when we get to know our airmen and get to know each other, we succeed. Why resiliency matters? Well, we want to be able to be happy in life. We have to face all those adapting challenges, communication, teamwork, leadership. We want to be able to sleep. So as we are resilient and we practice resiliency, we bring more to the table. We bring more as a leader, especially during COVID right now. We have to communicate with our teammates without seeing them. We're sending out people for deployments, maybe last minute or in different directions, and we're having to communicate. As a leader, we have great leaders that are telling us what's going on in the community and at work. We have to be able to make those decisions and be ready to face it. We need to be able to sleep at night when it's really busy and we're thinking about all the things we have going on, but we need to stop in the present and think and be able to go to sleep and be better, healthy. When we don't do this, we get stressed.
Yeah,
we
very
get depressed,
yes.
Disengaged, burnt out,
Anxious.
So resiliency, why is resiliency training important? Now Desiree's here to share a story with us, and before she does, I want you to know that it can be something small. It can be you forget your lunch at home. You forget your lunch at home, and then you get to work, you're like, oh man, now I need to go get my lunch. Or you wake up a few minutes late, and then the whole day is ruined because you woke up a few minutes late. Now, we don't want you to dwell on little thing that happened. We want you to be resilient and move forward. Desiree, if you don't mind sharing your story with us.
Yes, absolutely. Like Monique was saying, stress and adversity can happen, and small things, like she was saying, forgetting your lunch at home, or it could be bigger things that change your life completely, where you sit there and you ask yourself, what do I do now? Unfortunately, I was put into that position almost 2 years ago. In July 2018, I was at home enjoying family time, 5 months pregnant. It was just, we were happy, very, very happy. And then my husband decided to take our youngest son for a quick motorcycle ride around town. It's usually how it happens. And about an hour and a half went by. They didn't come back, and then I get a knock on the door, and it was a deputy sheriff. That's when my whole world came crashing down. And honestly, at that moment, I didn't know what to do, You just kind of become numb and you just go with the flow. But thankfully, I've been able to overcome it. I am still overcoming my stress with it, but I'm learning. And that's all that I need to do, is just to keep taking it one day at a time and help my children understand the importance of, no matter what life throws at you, you can overcome it.
Thank you for sharing, Desiree. It's very inspiring that you're here sharing your story with us today. A lot of people, some people would not even be able to be here. They'd be depressed, or, you're a technical sergeant in the United States Air Force. You have beautiful children, and you're here sharing your story with everyone, and you're a master resiliency trainer. You went through 2 weeks of training, and you've been teaching FTech students on how to be more resilient, so thank you. I'm really proud of you for doing this.
Thank you.
As we train our minds on being resilient, we can get through those and be ready, be prepared to deal with something that comes our way. We can't be prepared for something as Desiree went through, but on how to live in the moment and move forward. Training is important because we want to train our mind. Just as my children, we train them to brush their teeth every night, we have to set that routine, and we have to give them the motivation to keep each day, and then sooner or later they'll be doing it themselves. So keeping that routine, and we train our body and our mind to do that. So we practice resiliency, we live in the moment, and we be grateful for the things that we've been through. It's building our toolbox. The more we build our toolbox, the better we'll be in life, and the happier we'll be. Good news is you can start now. You don't have to wait until you don't have to start when you're 3 years old brushing your teeth. You can be 38 years old and starting to be resilient and build that toolbox, just being positive. There's always room for growth. Gratitude, looking for the good. Find the beauty in the moment and be grateful. How does gratitude help? Helps you be positive. We talked about the good things and the bad things if you're practicing resiliency, and what happens when you don't practice it. We need to be able to go to work every day. If we show up 5 minutes late, we need to put that behind us and be grateful that our team's ready to work and everything's going to go great today. What are some things that you did to help you through your time?
It took some time for me to find my groove and figure out how I should be positive, because, given my circumstance, it was really hard for me to figure out what would be positive. I was still stuck in the past, and that's something you have to train your mind not to be stuck in, because we're so focused on living in the past, and we're also focused on our future. How are we going to shape our future? But what we have to realize is you can't change anything in the past. The past is past, it happened. You have to find peace with your past and move on. The future, yeah, sure, we could try to say, I want to be this, I want to do that, this is what I want my future to look like. But we also have to realize that even though we just can't live in the future always, we must focus on the present. We have to live in the present, and that's how I kind of started using gratitude. I started just taking it one moment at a time, focusing on what I did have in my life. I was able to give birth to our daughter, who I named after our husband, Justine Whitney Elledge. Her father was Justin William Elledge. I was able to rely on my social network, my mom, my very, very good friends that are always there with me no matter what. And that's just how I started seeing the positive in my life. And that's what helped me improve my optimism about my future.
Definitely having that team there to help you go through that.
Yes.
And then being resilient and showing gratitude, it helps you build more relationships socially within your family, your teams at work. So we talked about what is gratitude. It's being thankful in the moment, the little things, being thankful for being here with Desiree and being able to share this opportunity of resiliency and learn from each other and be able to share it with you guys. Being grateful for Sergeant Henderson being behind the camera and making this all happen. We look for the good, and it helps us focus on what's right. Positive emotions. Positive emotions is it's catchy, it's contagious, like the COVID-19. You want to be positive because people feed off it, and the more positive you are, the better, the happier you're going to be. Maybe you're going to have those smile wrinkles, but being positive is good, and it helps you develop new skills, helps you think outside the box, be better performance, better leadership, because it's easy to be in the negative spiral. Negative, we are hardwired to be negative. We're born to be negative. It's so easy. We bring up that defense right away. It's negative emotions trigger flight, fight, or freeze. We have to work so hard to be positive and to be resilient that's why we need to practice it. And we want to show you how to practice that daily. This could be, you could write it down on a sticky note or in your notepad in your phone. You can write it on the chalkboard. You can talk to somebody. I talk to my sister every morning on the way to work. She's over in Germany, shipped our household goods out and her unaccompanied baggage, just waiting for that next flight out, living in a house with a 5-year-old and husky. But any way you find that works for you to talk about things you're grateful for. In the last 24 hours, Desiree, what's something that you've been grateful for? And I encourage all of you to try this as well.
Well, today was kind of stressful for me. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. My little one decided to catch a fever. And with what's going on, I started freaking out, going, I hope it's not the COVID. That's all I kept thinking. I hope it's not the COVID. So I had to wait until 8 o'clock, be able to try to get an appointment at doctor's office. Well, doctor's office is closed today. Now Mom was really stressed out. Because thankfully I realized, okay, Dr. J's urgent care. Let's go there. I was very grateful for the fact that we were the only patient in, so we were just really quick in and out. I was grateful for the fact that she tested negative for the flu, and it was just an ear infection. My poor child suffers from allergies. Living in Texas, it's it's not good for her. So that is what I was very grateful for, that my baby just had an ear infection. I was able to get her the antibiotics she needed quickly, and just all my stress just melted away.
Yeah, that is good. I'd be very grateful too. When we go over things and we reflect what we're grateful for, we want to be very specific, and the reflection is the key on why it went well, why it was meaningful, and who had a part in it, because you didn't do it alone. Dr. Jays was there to help you out. Yes. So we always want to look at who else contributes to that gratefulness. Yes. Thank you for sharing. How do you think a gratitude practice builds resiliency? Repetition, practice. Just like we talked about with my kids brushing their teeth, the more you practice, the better you're going to be at it, and it's going to be common for you to just be grateful for the little things in life. I know when I went through the RTA, it's a segue to MRT, and I started practicing this, and I thought I was crazy because I was writing sticky notes everywhere. But once you find your way, it helps you. It really does.
Yes,
it gets really you up in that positive spiral, because as soon as you go down, it's hard to get back up. The support group will help you do that, though. So when you have good friends, leadership, that will help you get back up that spiral as well.
Absolutely. Looking
for the good. And these are activities that we ask our FTech airmen as they go through it, and I love hearing there are some little things. Okay, so what went right in the last 24 hours, and why did it go well?
Okay, so obviously what went right, first off, I was able to get in Dr. J's. They opened at 8. I was there by like 8:30. Able to get my daughter antibiotics shortly after. Walgreens was open. And then I was also able to leave my daughter with my mom so I could go to Walgreens instead of taking her with me.
What about your cup of coffee?
I had that before. I need my cup of coffee first. Yes, before I can function.
It could be something very small as a cup of coffee. She was telling me about how she had her cup of coffee and she liked it because it was her moment to just relax and think. Yes. And people that contributed to that was Starbucks, you said. It can be something very small. I know when I'm at work and if my husband's home with the kids teaching them, because we have to take turns, I'm very grateful that he does that.
Yes.
And just getting home and being able to just walk in, and it feels good.
Yes.
So, do I have to look for it every day?
We actually don't.
No. You have to find what works for you. It can feel like a chore. Like brushing your teeth can be a chore. And as my supervisor said, you want to get rid of those sugar bugs. So you have to find a way to make it so it's enjoyable for you, whether it's doing it once a week or if it's once a day. You don't want to always do it just when you're stressed. You want to reflect on it just when you have time. Think about it, write it down, talk to somebody about it, find what works for you. Keeps you in that upward spiral. You want to stay in the upward spiral, and we talked about this already. It helps you cope with stress, improve relationships at work, at home, or right now, speaking with my new friend. Next. And that wraps it up for gratitude. I hope you guys practice and find a way that works for you and build that resiliency and that positive spiral.
Now we're going to touch a little bit about value-based goals. Man, that's wordy. So I'm just going to break that down for you. Basically, value-based goal is your why. What is your purpose? What is meaningful to you in your life? And one way to understand that is by understanding who you are, by understanding what your core values are, and then being able to apply your values when you create a goal for yourself. So right here, if you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, bring it out. If not, it's okay. Just try to memorize. Hopefully you can. I'm a little old, so my memory's kind of crappy. But from here, I would like you to kind of think about, if you already know a little bit about yourself and your core values, please think about what means the most to you. Here's a list that we show our FTACers, and we usually ask them to choose the 5 most important values that mean the most to them, like right now. And I want to let you guys just take a couple seconds, scroll through this, and pick the ones that matter the most to you. And as you can see, we did highlight 3 particular core values. You do not have to choose them. Please don't feel pressured. But they are highlighted because they are the Air Force core values. I know for me, my core values at the moment is compassion, family, happiness, helping others, and integrity. And yours are? Would you like to share?
Mine are pretty much the same, but it's hard because they changed. When I was an airman, I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to be the fun girl, like, hey, let's go out, have fun, and family was always on there because I'm really close to my sister and my dad. But my 5 now, you have to revisit them, and my 5 now match pretty much with yours: family, friendship, happiness, helping others, and trust.
Awesome. Okay, so now that you took a moment to kind of evaluate yourself, now we're going to ask ourselves, how do we see ourselves? What is the best version of ourselves that we want to be? Obviously, I mean, you want to always continually improve. You want to be better than what you used to be. That will help create your identity, give you confidence, and build your happiness. So one way to do that is by setting goals for ourselves. And we can do that by charting a course once we set those goals. This is a little activity that we have our FTACers accomplish. Trust me, when we're teaching resiliency, we keep our FTACers talking a lot. This is definitely a interactive, thank you, interactive discussion. It's never one-sided. But it's the only way because we want them to start thinking about themselves and understand the importance of being resilient. And one way is to establishing goals for ourselves. So let's think about it this way. It's a little hard when we're talking about setting our goals. Have you ever done the whole new year resolutions thing?
Yeah.
And then the goals just kind of disappear, like you never achieve them? That's because those goals are not set on your values, so you have no motivation. This way, if we chart our course based on the values we picked, hopefully your goals will be achieved. Now your goals may change, but that's okay. It may change because there was an obstacle in the way that you just couldn't overcome. Or they'll change because your values changed and you found out that that's not what I really want. This is what I really want, and that's okay too. So for example, I'm just going to kind of go through a quick little goal thing that I've got for myself, especially given the circumstances of the coronavirus and we're all, shelter in place, staying at home majority of the time. It's kind of hard to go after your goals, especially in a 24-hour period. Based on my value of helping others, I want to talk about the next 24 hours, which actually I already achieved this goal because I'm on this podcast right now. I'm helping others by sharing not only my story, but letting you guys understand what resiliency is about and why it's important. So, goal checked. The next 2 weeks, I'm actually a treasurer for the We Care team, which is a local community service team here at Dyess, for those that are not stationed at Dyess, if you guys don't know. But like I said, I'm a treasurer, and so I have some goals stuff that I have to accomplish. So now that the library is about to open and the restaurants are open, I have to go check our donation foundation. I have to check that, get the coins, take it to the bank. I have to send out some other stuff to our sponsors. So that is my next goal that I have to take care of. And then the next 3 months, hopefully we will be able to host another We Care team project, painting a house or having a car wash, and I'll be able to accomplish that by being a part of it. So what I challenge you guys to do is to look at the values that you have circled and ask yourself, what kind of goals do I want to start in the next 24 hours, or the next 2 weeks, or the next 3 months? And then go ahead and chart that. Write down your goal, what value it's associated with, and then put down steps on how you're going to accomplish those goals. And if there's an obstacle in the way, like I said earlier, that's okay. Think about how you can overcome that obstacle. And if you can't overcome that obstacle, I want you to ask yourself, is this goal really true to yourself? If it's not, that's okay. Come up with a new goal. Reassess. You're always changing, and it's okay to change. You're changing for the better. Just realize that and never give up on yourself or any goals that you set up for yourself. And as just a review, why are values-based goals important for us, right? Well, they help define who we are. They help us achieve our purpose in life. They help us find our why. And then also with that, it builds your confidence. It helps you become more positive, optimistic. You become happier because you're living a life that is true to yourself.
When we know what our values are, it helps us to live by them and lead by them and feel more accomplished. We can have a goal set out that doesn't align with our values, and we finish it, it's a check mark, and it's like, okay, that didn't do anything for me. So knowing yourself is very important, and staying positive, resilient. There's some other toolboxes out there that we can go to. That's the last slide, correct? All right, so there's www.resiliency.af.mil. If you go out there, there's a lot of tools you can use. And this isn't just for military, it's for spouses, it's for anyone. Anyone can go out there and use these. Do we have any questions?
We do.
Oh, we do.
Yay.
Okay.
Your first question from Master Sergeant Nicholas Tester is, what does resiliency mean to you?
To me, it means facing adversity, being able to overcome any bump in the road. If something happens, we need to be positive, lift our head up, and be able to move forward and to feel good about it and to be able to succeed in the next thing that comes our way. Thank you, Master Nicholas Tester.
Sergeant Tester also asked, when is the best time to practice these skills?
Anytime, honestly. If you think about it, you already have these skills. You're already using them in your day-to-day life. We just finally put words to them. I didn't realize that there was a thing called values-based goals. Like I said, it's wordy. I always just knew that I'd set goals for myself and I would achieve them. But now I have words for it. Now I understand that it's actually resiliency life skill. So you're always using it whether you're aware of it or not.
Yeah, it can be any time of day. It can be, and it doesn't have to be when you're stressed out or you're going through it. It can be any time. But
Absolutely.
you definitely want to use it when you're going through it too as well. All right. Well, thank you, Team Dyess, and anybody else who's